Hey everyone, welcome to Absolutely PlayStation Esteem Gamers. My name is Benny. That is the King Kota. You gotta say it in 3 parts, even though he doesn't do that. If you're looking for his channel, it's the King Kota, 1 word. If you look for the separated one, it's a rapper. Just a heads up. So,
not a good rapper.
How do you know? Have you watched his videos?
I did.
Oh, you were like, do I want to compete with him? Is he that good?
He's better than me at the very least, but
That's what I was going to say. Are you going to rap? Rap for me, Kota. Give me a rap about Guardians of the Galaxy.
So anyways, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy
Guardians of the Galaxy officially has released gameplay. And we're going to do this quick little video discussing our thoughts on the gameplay. Now, I did get an invite to play it. I didn't reply in time.
Dang it, Benny.
I know, so I could have had firsthand. But I did watch a lot of people's footage on the whole thing. Mm-hmm. What is your initial take on it, Kota? Because, I mean, you like these kinds of games.
I do. It actually reminds me a lot of Mass Effect with the whole you're controlling Starlord and you're issuing commands to the other Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the combo aspect to it because like they should like Groot like grabbing people with the vines and then you could have Rocket like throw a bomb to blow everything up. That looked really cool. I don't like Star-Lord's look though.
Well, I mean, they changed how he looks in everything. I play this other game, Marvel Strike Force, and he's got like a mohawk thing going on down the middle. So like they change his look all the time. His look is interesting. It's definitely going in a different direction.
Right.
He's got like that high fade and like it almost reminds of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like the front. Oh my god, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I was about to say you kind of have his hair a little bit.
In my defense, I'm growing this out to be a Viking, and this is kind of where it gets to right now.
I'm gonna Photoshop his hair off and just superimpose it onto you.
No, I have his haircut right now though, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow out the top, and this is what you can make it. You just poof it out to make it look good. You know what I mean?
He doesn't look bad, but out of all the Guardians, the other Guardians look very comic book accurate, and he just stands out next to them. But otherwise, I like it. I like that there's the dialogue in between you walking around. All the Guardians are supposedly just always talking, and then you can reply to them and like encourage them or say
I'm
a funny
hoping
line.
that doesn't get annoying.
Yeah.
Like imagine having to redo the same area of a checkpoint and the same lines get spewed out again.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
that's one of my concerns with that. They're like, oh, okay, I've heard this line before, Rocket. And also replayability. Like, I'm excited for it the first time through, but how's that going to go, like, the 4th time through that I'm just goofing around? Like, it's the witty one-liner from Gamora.
Yeah, this is one that, like, it's always expensive whenever video games do this, but I hope they, like, have, like, 1,000 or so different lines that kind of get mixed in. So it's always different every time you play through it or something. Like a cutscene, you say a different one-liner at a certain point or something.
Right. I'm hoping it could be that way. The gameplay itself. So a lot of people are worried about the combat system. This looks really good. It actually really reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh yeah,
where you're running around as Cloud, and you can kind of you can't jump to the other Guardians like in Remake, but you kind of like issue orders, let them do their thing while you're playing your characters. That's how I play Remake. I just mostly stay in Cloud and tell everyone else to do things.
Right. Yeah. It like I said, it's very Mass Effect-y. Time slows down.
Yeah.
You tell like Drax to go and punch that dude, and he goes charging over and punches him. There's also space combat that they barely showed any footage. Apparently, the people that got to play couldn't really talk about it.
It's probably. I mean, I've done this kind of thing before, where they're really on the wire, and it might not be polished the way they want it yet. Mm-hmm. So they might just be like, you know what, don't talk about it.
Yeah. So only saw like a few seconds of it, but it looked pretty good. Kind of reminded me of Reach's space combat during that one mission.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of what I was expecting it to be, a straightforward linear storyline with the Guardians where they crack jokes and you boss them around. I like everything that I'm seeing about this. And unlike you, I like the designs because it looks like they're trying to remind you, like with Starlord, they're trying to remind us of the MCU. Everything else looks comic book accurate, but I like Gamora looking like her comic book.
Oh yeah, no, I love everyone's design except for Starlord. But I do like it. I remember whenever this was first announced, they were like, it's not going to be like the MCU's Guardians.
Right.
It's not gonna. It feels so much like the MCU's Guardians. Though.
Okay, for those who don't know, the Guardians of the Galaxy pre-MCU were not this at all. This is not like Star-Lord was an asshole. Groot spoke full sentences. Drax was an assassin. Gamora wasn't around. So to say that this isn't like the MCU's, I think they're just blatant stating that to keep it clear. Like, we're not the MCU. But the fact is, doing this lineup, you're doing MCU Guardians.
Right.
Like, that's it.
And their personalities are the MCU Guardians, which I'm fine
That's not how they were in the comics pre-2011.
And that's probably why Star-Lord looks so much different from he does in the comics. Because to me, Chris Pratt looks like Star-Lord from the comics in a way. So like they want to make him look different enough.
Is the hair bothering you that much?
It bothers the hell out of
me. The high fade is just throwing you off. You're like, no.
He would not wear that.
How do you know? This isn't the MCU Star-Lord.
It's fair. This is the high fade universe.
Oh God, we're calling it the high fade. We've dubbed it the high fade universe moving forward. One thing I want to talk about. So it's all over Twitter, but everyone's like, just can't wait for the articles. Guardians is better than Avengers. My thought process, first off, they're completely different games.
It's entirely different.
That's what I like about MCU games. Like, you could look at Spider-Man, Marvel's Avengers, and you could look at Guardians, and each has its pros and its cons. And yes, some of them are more revered as the best game out there. Look at Spider-Man. Like, I don't think anyone's going to argue that Sony's Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, is probably one of the best of Marvel games. But why are we comparing? That's what I don't. And I know they're doing it for clickbait, but I play Avengers, and it's one, doesn't play like this, and two, has its own strengths that I don't see in this.
Right. Well, one's a live service game that has like a huge roster. The other one's just a tight-knit single-player game focusing around specifically Star-Lord, but also the other Guardians.
Right, and having like its own little way of doing team combat and doing its own combos. Then you look at Marvel Spider-Man, and that's basically Batman's Arkham with Spider-Man, but with a wide open city. They're different games, so I don't know why we always need to compare them. I mean, I play all the mobile games, Future Revolution, Marvel Strike Force, and those are amazing, but they're different. Now, I could see the comparison and the need for this comparison if they were the identical games, but they're not.
Right. Marvel Avengers is different from Lego Avengers, but they have the same name.
I never thought of comparing those two, but you have done it.
But maybe somebody did it.
I guarantee you somebody did it. But back to Guardians of the Galaxy and why we're here. How do you feel about what they're showing to be the discussions on the ship? How, like, it looks, combat to me looks like a lot of fun, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of inner team discussions and building up the personalities and the relationships and stuff like that.
That is what I want from a Guardians, like a story in general, is when the Guardians as a unit, it's kind of like a dysfunctional family. And seeing them like interact with each other, hate one person, love another, that's what the draw to Guardians is.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. I'm hoping this game does so well that we get like new Guardians added in, like maybe a Guardians 2 or some DLC where like maybe we get Thor and we get the Asgardians.
What if the DLC's the Ravagers?
Ooh.
And then you're Yondu.
I would love that. Yeah, I'm very excited for the game to come out. The enemy is a bit of an odd choice for their start. It's not well known, like, enemy of the Guardians.
Well, let me ask you this. Who's a well-known enemy of the Guardians?
Thanos. Kind of.
Do you think we're going right to Thanos?
I'm just saying. You could start with Thanos going to Annihilation, you know?
I'm just saying, the problem that they have with the Guardians, this is actually a problem I have a lot of Marvel superheroes. They don't have villains that are theirs. Thanos is a world-ending villain. The Annihilus is a world-ending villain. So what villains do they fight against? The Church of Universal Truth and the Nova Corps. Who are the
Yeah.
two people that they're fighting in the game? The Church of Universal Truth and the Nova Corps. The most recent Guardians run that I just read, which was Donny Cates, which is right before the one that's going out right now, was the Church of Universal Truth. So
That's fair. Plus, the church is involved with Adam Warlock,
right.
which that's a big stepping stone into other storylines, is getting Adam Warlock involved. Although they didn't mention him at all in any of these trailers.
I have a feeling he'll be a sequel, if anything. One thing I do like, and they seem to be doing at this game, is they don't seem to be deep diving into the lore of the Guardians, at least from what we're seeing in the trailer. We'll probably get a bunch of Easter eggs, but if you just make a tight-knit one about the core Guardians and you don't try to throw all kinds of Marvel lore in here, I'm going to be happy. If it's just the Guardians versus the Universal Truth, whatever, Church of Truth, that's what I want. I don't want them to deep dive into the lore. Start giving me games. Because think about way back, Marvel Spider-Man was Marvel Spider-Man with a couple fun Easter eggs. Then we got Miles. And now we have Spider-Man 2 that will have both of them. So that's the kind of direction I'd love for them to take with
So
this.
you don't want the first 5 chapters of the game to be flashbacks of their backstory of all the characters?
Why not? That'd be cool. How they all met in this universe. But if we do that, we need the super sad story of how Groot and Rocket met.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about all we have to say on.
Yeah, there's not
Guardians.
much. They haven't released that much new information, just some of the gameplay. So this is really all we have on it right now.
When's it coming out?
I'll double check, but I believe it was October 15th. For some reason, that number stands out in my head. October 26th. So I don't know what's happening on October 15th, but I should probably look into that. Anyway, guys, we are absolutely PlayStation and Steam gamers. My name is Benny. That is the King Coda, also known as John. And and we will see you guys next time right here. Let us know your comments and thoughts about the gameplay and down below here on YouTube. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.